I wanted to talk about this because somebody actually commented in this video saying a lot of people are making this unnecessarily dirty, when in fact he actually didn't raise her. At the end of the series, he dropped her off at a human village and then came back for her later. And I don't know how to feel about that either, to be honest. I don't think that there's ever going to be acceptance of this relationship. Unfortunately, in some ways to me, and I'm not justifying things, it did make sense because she's literally the only human that wasn't like running from him or even afraid of him, because she'd already dealt with so much. So I could get how it makes sense. And let's be honest, when it comes to the age thing, we got to talk about Inuyasha and Kagome here too. Like, I just feel like this is something that nobody's ever going to really be okay with, which is fine. And I also feel like it's something where some people are going to justify it and other people are just flat out disgusted by it. I don't think Sesshomaru is what people are saying he is. I'm sorry, I'm not calling him that. I do think that there were choices that were made that could have been different. They, as Simon said to his partner in Adventure Time, when he goes, "This isn't how it went," and she's like, "We made our choices. We could have made better ones, but I don't have any regrets." That's sort of like this. They made their choices and they could have made better ones. I can say how it does make sense in a standpoint in which she's the only human that he could ever stand, and he did need her. He needed to learn compassion and care for other things because he didn't have any. I just get where the fandom kind of has their thing. I get where people are coming from, though. Like, hey, technically, no, he wasn't like that. He actually had her live with humans and wanted her to make her own decisions. Yeah, once again, I think this is always going to be that thing that the anime community is divided on, and a lot of people are not happy with this relationship, and I completely get it. I unfortunately can see from all angles, but when it comes to the decision that was ultimately made, I really think they should have chosen somebody else for him. But the thing of it is, with these two characters, they kind of wrote them in together. And throughout the entire series, it was, when he met her, it was him saving her from some stuff. Like, there was a time some demon had picked her up, I was about to eat her, and he hacked its arm off, and she dropped behind him, and, he finished the demon off. Honestly, I could kind of see this coming, for it was like, oh, you support that? No, but it was, where else was this going to go? It unfortunately was becoming obvious, and I'm like, I really hope that they do something to where, like, when she's, like, older, or maybe they don't do that, or maybe they find someone else for the two of them. Because a lot of people are like, oh, she should have been with Kohaku, which I do support that. I support that, and he should have been with Kagura. Like my friend Knight says, it should have been her, sky puppies, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh, sky puppy. Imagine little flying sky puppies. I want one. But yeah, unfortunately, I think they kind of, like with Inuyasha and Kagome, it became really obvious to me. It's like, uh-oh. And when Yashahime came out and someone's like, I take it you're not watching that, are you? What happened? Oh my god, you don't believe this, Rick Click. Nope. Nope. So I get where people are coming from in both regards. I don't support this kind of thing. I understand that at first it was talked to be like a parental bond, and then it wasn't, and there are so many things out there where it's like there is no way of seeing this in a good light, unfortunately. That's the conclusion I keep coming back to, even though it does make sense, and I know a lot of people are like, oh wow, I don't support those kinds of relations, but it did make sense. He needed to learn compassion and ultimately love for a weaker life form, and that's her. And I understand a lot of people don't like that, guys. I get it, but I think they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with this relationship, and it could only go one way. And I really think she would have been better off with Kohaku, because they both had those sorts of backgrounds, and I really think Sesshomaru would have been better off with Kagura. Unfortunately, ultimately, it doesn't really matter what we as the fandom thought. It mattered what they wanted to do with it. But, yeah, that's my 2 cents on the matter. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I understand that the whole thing where he dropped her off to live with humans was supposed to kind of separate that kind of thing. It was actually his idea. So, guys, I'm sorry, Lord Sessshomaru is not a groomer. I can't call him that. Now, once again, I get this is one of those things where it's like, but I honestly, ultimately will say that I don't picture him as that type of person, and I just think that it was a really bad decision on the network.